being proud by itself is usually not looked at as bad, but it essentially, I mean, it is.
Yeah.
And that's maybe the part we're not going to spend a lot of time on is, saying that pride is bad. I want to say it's in 1 John. It says that pride is of the world. There's a psalm where it says that God abhors the proud, essentially, something like that. Plenty of other examples. It's not a good thing to be.
And I think it kind of comes from a place of this culture is really wanting to push towards self-worth. Because this culture sees the problems we have in this world with people feeling worthless and they have no point on this earth. And they try to address that problem by saying you are worth something within of yourself. Your worth comes from within.
Yeah.
And therefore you should be proud of who you are, of yourself.
Proud of you, and you don't need anyone else. You can do it by your own power.
And that becomes then you become your own God.
More or less.
Yeah, because you're like, okay, this culture is pushing for us to believe that our worth comes from us. And we should be proud of ourselves and therefore become our own God.
And that we can do anything if we try hard enough, and that we can be anything that we want to be. Those are the things that culture is saying, is that essentially you are God.
Yeah, and I would like, and I think from a Christian perspective, we should realize that our worth should only be in the sight of God, or in light of who we are in relation to God. We are only worth something because we are sons and daughters of God.
Yeah.
And are made in His image.
And because in every ability or skill or thing that we're good at comes from God. It's not we who decided that we're going to be good at, a sport or at some game or something, right?
Yeah.
It comes from God.
Because we're made in God's image, we have inherent worth. It's not because of anything we've done, because we did not create ourselves.
Well, if we think back to our podcast on finding purpose without God, is that if there is no God, if we were not created, then we are just animals. We are not that much different than pigs. We can just reason.
Yeah.
And ultimately, there's no enduring meaning to our existence.
Yeah.
With God, there is a meaning to our existence. And so really our meaning, our worth, our value comes from God. Yeah. Hey, thanks for watching. This clip came from an episode of our podcast, which we will have a link in the description below for you to watch the full thing, see more discussion about this topic and other topics.